Welcome to Van Lathan's The Red Pill, where we give you the brutal truth of reality. Today's guest, personal hero of mine, Master P. The name of this podcast is 8515. That refers to the unprecedented deal that Master P got from Priority Records. 85% of the deal went to him and No Limit Records. 15% went to the record company. That, my friends, is fucking insane. What type of mindset does a man have to even ask for that? You really got to believe in yourself. And what made Master P, mogul, businessman, movie producer, father, basketball player, believe that he could do everything that he ended up accomplishing in this world? And also another question, did Master P almost have to kick Kobe Bryant's ass? He answers all of these questions. Pop some pills, enjoy it. The brother's dropping jewels. I'm from the country. My daddy is from a place called Maringouin, Louisiana. Population, 1,700. I saw the Atchafalaya Basin in Louisiana, you know what I'm saying? Swamps, pits. My mama's from South Baton Rouge.
All right, she don't know nothing about that. Man, I got this kid in Baton Rouge. I don't know if you heard of him. You heard of Tommy Brown?
Yeah.
He blowing up, man.
Yeah. You fucking with him?
Yeah.
Word.
He blowing up.
How are you involved?
That's just my little people. I'm helping them.
How much of that do you do? How much of, because, are we rolling, by the way?
Yeah, we are.
Okay. First of all, every hour, give it up for Master P, everybody.
Yeah.
What's up?
Let me tell you something before we go. Like, my relationship with Master P is one of the things that is most interesting in my life, because once again, you have me sitting across from somebody who, during the years where I was formulating thought, where I was coming into my own, this was the soundtrack to what, and you guys kind of put that together. You know what I mean? That whole thing, that movement really changed music, man.
Yeah. People don't realize, like, at that time, the South really wasn't getting its just due. You either had to be from the East Coast or the West Coast.
Right.
And even though you had the Ghetto Boys, it still wasn't a lot of Southern artists just really getting to shine. And because I think they thought that we was just country. Like, you know. Yeah. And we was talking about that, like, even with Cribs, so people don't know what. That's why I put my house on Cribs.
Yeah, talk about that, because we were talking about that in a second ago. Everybody remembers the episode of MTV Cribs where P showed that he had the big lake or the big estate and the elevator and stuff like that. And you were telling me that was kind of the beginning of Cribs.
that was the very beginning of it. Nobody wanted to show their house back in those days. Think about it. You never seen Puffy House. You never seen Suge House. Nobody was showing their crib.
Right.
But I just wanted to show the world that we not riding on cows and horses. You know, like, we really living a good lifestyle. We worked hard, you know, and we do have Rolls Royces. We do have mansions. And that was in the 90s.
Right. So the one thing that was something that I've been really into, and we've talked to about to other people that have been on the podcast. We had a conversation about Damon Dash on the podcast. One thing that stuck out about No Limit, especially in those early days, was I made a list of all the businesses, because people think it's all about music. Yeah. But we knew down there that it was about more than this. Yeah. And it was about something that we need to, that as a community we need to talk about. We're talking about down there, you guys had a realty company. Yeah. You guys had movie production. Yeah. I know that Rap Snacks are out now, but Rap Snacks originated with you guys. Yeah. You guys, I think, had, one time was there No Limit cell phones? Yeah. So you had all kinds of different things. So the black entrepreneurship and the black-owned, the sort of feeling of self-contained wealth, that was a big deal for kids that were growing up then. What made that so important to you then?
Well, I mean, we never owned anything. We always had to work for somebody. And people don't know, in Baton Rouge, I brought the Coca-Cola building, knocked that down, and we was building offices. It got turned into a big production company. But just ownership. It was all about ownership. We needed to own product. Right. Can't just be about the music. Because look, 20 years later, if your music ain't hot, what are you going to be doing?
Right.
And that's what I was trying to show people back then. You have to diversify your portfolio. You have to have product. I mean, I had my own dog back then, to make them say dog.
Yeah, I remember that.
You know, we put out movies. I played in the NBA. Watch, I got a.
What you got for me?
I got a gift for you. This the first.
No, you gotta be kidding.
This the first jersey, the official. And this yours. So I'm
Whoa!
giving it to, so you'll be able, everybody else have to buy this for the All-Star game in Charlotte next year. You know, we about to shut the whole city down.
Man.
So you got the
So this was the official one that you ball with. Look at the situation. Man, bro.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
So
man.
I mean, people don't know all the work I had to put in to be a professional athlete and come from entertainment.
Yeah.
Because it just don't go together. I probably was the first pro athlete with tattoos. I don't know. Like, it goes. I mean, it was crazy because they didn't think until they actually see me play.
So a lot of people are confused a little bit about that.
Yeah.
And just in general, I feel like I'm from Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
I know the story, and a lot of people who are into hip-hop know the story. But the beginnings of Master P leading up to the point to where all of this stuff happens, just take us back real quick. Like,
Well, so people don't know basketball really was my life. Like, that saved me. That took me out the projects, took me to college, the University of Houston. And I got hurt and I got into the music. I had to find something else.
Right.
When my grandfather died, my grandfather was like, you need to do something else with your life. Don't just sit around here. And I just like, really, I wanted to tell my story. But when I got to Richmond, California, and I opened a record store, that's when I got into, like, so I used to have, like, from Tupac to Spice One to E40 to Too Short, Easy, all these guys to come to my record store. So I just wanted to live. I said,
so you knew Tupac?
Yeah, I knew all of them. So I used to sell their music on consignment at my record store at No Limit. So people don't know, No Limit was a retail store first.
Word.
In Richmond, California. So it wasn't the label first. It was No Limit, the retail record store. So you got to imagine me, a 19-year-old kid, owning a record store.
So it was really No Limit Records.
No Limit Records. I was selling all kind of records. My whole thing was getting music, rap music, the next day to you through FedEx and UPS. That was my niche.
So how long did that go to? Because you know it's funny. It's funny that you say that because when the first time I ever heard of True, you guys, it was Mobbing Through the Hood, that track, and then y'all was in Richmond in that video.
We was in Richmond in that video.
And so I didn't know that y'all were even from Louisiana at this point. Remember, I was a little younger.
Yeah.
And so when you came back and when I'm About It was, by the way, man, like, bruh, put I'm About It on if you, and then when that comes in, anybody from the South, that's the anthem. So when you were talking about the fact that you were from New Orleans and stuff like that, for a lot of people, like, I didn't know.
So what happened was, when I was in Richmond, it was kind of like hard for me to catch on because, you know, I was from the South. All I talk about is New Orleans. Yeah. And you find me in the Saints hat jersey or something like that. And it really wasn't working. But it was good, but it wasn't what they was used to.
Right.
You know, and I was like, I got to go back home.
I had to come home.
You know, and when I went back home, I really was able to find my niche. But I learned the hustle game of the independent business in Richmond.
Right.
And I learned it from St. Charles. That was E40 uncle. Me and him got to be real jam.
E40 and the clique of guys who you featured very heavily on that Early No Limit stuff. They were all over the
we got a great relationship. Me and E40 and his brothers and his sisters. It was like, you know, that's where I learned the game from E40 uncle, St. Charles. So at St. Charles always was about distribution, putting his own music out. And he was in Vallejo, so I used to drive down there and holler at him. And so I started getting my music into City Hall Records.
Word.
And then...
so the Bay Area was very influential.
Oh, yeah. I mean, man, I used to hang out with JT, the Bigger Figure, all the time. Rapping Forte, EA Ski, and CMT. That was my producers back then, before the KLCs and the Beats by the Pound. Yeah.
So at what point, you come back home, you know, you start making records. At what point did you go, yo, this is working?
Yeah, well, we was in the Bay. Me, Mr. Servone, and KLC and Mia X, and we was making songs. I was in K. Lou studio, so K. Lou did a lot of music for me too. And we was like, man, this jamming, but we don't have that bottom. We don't have that New Orleans bounce, and even bringing KL to California, it's still we felt like something was missing. I think the element of being in our environment, this is us. This is where we grew up at, and the music just started pouring out once we got home. It was right, because I was like a fish out of water.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So yeah, but I was able to do what I did in the Bay Area, and then I was able to, go back home and take it to the next level, because nobody was doing what I was doing independently.
Yeah. So the independent thing, we're talking about, like, because you kind of come before, at least to us.
Yeah.
I remember watching Rap City when they were talking about the Cash Money deal and the rest of these other deals and all these other people who had gotten on. Mm-hmm. But by this point, you had already been with Priority, right?
Oh, yeah. So, now I've already had a distribution deal, 85-15.
Nobody ever got that deal again.
Nah.
How in the world did you get Priority to give you 85-15? That they stopped that after that.
Yeah, so I had to have my own marketing money, which was $200,000. So you got to imagine having $200,000.
Let me break in real quick. If people don't know, when we say 85-15, Master P and No Limit Records had a legendary distribution deal with Priority Records, where P, not the company, No Limit had 85, and the distribution company had 15.
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure people understand how fucking crazy that is. But so you were saying.
Yeah, so with that, me and my guy got together, Bias, which is, my right-hand dude, and we grew up together. And we was like, we gonna do something different. We ain't just in it for the money, I put up my own bread, and I said, if this pay off, it's gonna pay off for real. Because before that deal, I turned down $1 million with Jimmy Iovine. So
you turned down $1 million.
I turned down. They offered me $1 million.
That was for straight. That was for straight. Like to sign you as an artist.
Yeah, to sign me as an artist.
So, and what this was from Interscope, or would you have been with Death Row, or would you have?
No, it was with Interscope.
$1 million.
Yeah.
And this was on the strength of what that he was signing you on? I guess after Ice Cream Man.
It was right before Ice Cream Man. I was just making a real buzz in the street. And
you turned down $1 million from Jimmy Iovine.
Yeah.
How does somebody make a decision to turn down $1 million?
Because when by me going to college, so I tell people all the time, like even my kids, like, you need to be a student athlete. Like by me going to college playing basketball, I really was in the school.
Yeah.
And so I read the contract. And the contract said, I couldn't use my name. I didn't have the rights for this and all that, for 7 years. And I started adding it up, I live in a project with 14 people in a 3-bedroom apartment. If I gave everybody $100,000, I ain't gonna have nothing
left.
You know what I'm saying? So I was like, if this man offered me $1 million, how much am I worth? And me and my brother, me and C was together. I said, because he was mad. He was like, man, take that $1 million.
Anybody would say that, especially $1 million didn't seem like.
Yeah. And so I started thinking. I said, I got to be worth 10, 20, or 30, and just start saying that. Mm-hmm. And by him offering me that, it made me go back home and work hard. So I was like really selling CDs out the trunk of my car, saving my money up, and when I got the distribution deal offer, I needed $200,000 to do the marketing,
right,
which I had because I was already selling CDs and cassettes out the trunk of my car. I started going everywhere, to New York, to Texas, to Florida, Chicago.
Now imagine you had probably a little nest egg saved up from that other career too.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that.
Right. I feel what you're saying. So whoop, whoop. But I feel what you're saying. So you were able to come with that marketing money, and then you were able to make that deal happen for yourself.
Yeah, I was able to get that deal done, and it was No other deal ever done like that. And I want to tell people how I found out about the deal was Michael Jackson attorney, which he charged me $25,000 to sit down to talk to him.
Just to take the meeting.
Just to take the meeting. So sometimes you got to invest. I was upset about it, but it's probably the best $25 I ever spent.
So you sit down with him. He tells you that. So you've at this point. You've paid the $200,000, or you're preparing to pay the $200,000 out of your own pocket. You've also paid $25,000, so we're looking at around $225,000. Which I don't know how much people know about South Louisiana, where we're from. Yeah, but $225,000.
That's a lot of money, especially back then.
A lot of money.
My grandmother didn't even have a car back then. Yeah, so it was like. But being able to get out and work and save up your bread and have vision that you want to make it in life. Like, I invested everything back in me. So I tell you all the time, no matter what I'm doing, don't count me out because I'm gonna make it. Because we come from New Orleans, like the hurricane town. We all go through things. Mm-hmm. And I tell people all the time, like, even the room, I want to show you. I brought you a bottle, too. This is the next $1 billion idea right here.
I got gifts.
This already blowing up. This is called Sugar Skull Rum. Yeah. And this is the biggest drink already in the South. Nobody has rum. So you got Diddy has the vodka. You got the people got tequila. Jay-Z got the champagne. And
Sugar Skull Rum. Let me tell you something about this rum, P.
Yeah.
I haven't tried it yet, but we have Lauren in the building right here. This is rapper loving Lauren. She loves rappers. That's her thing.
Oh, yeah?
Her thing is rappers around Hollywood. She just loves rappers.
Come on, man.
And so, like, I saw her. Well, she loves rappers. Don't let her this bullshit. So this is the type of situation for you, Lauren, this rum, okay? When you're hanging out with, I don't know, Lil Fizz or whoever it is, you can get some of this rum in you. You know what I'm saying? Get some of this rum in them. So you're business minded. You're doing your whole thing. Mm-hmm. My question is, you seem to believe in yourself and know that investing in yourself, it was where the future was really going to go. And you see with these various businesses, we're going to talk extensively about the things that you have going on. That seems to be the move. Almost every man or woman who has changed the world. Yeah. If you're talking about Steve Jobs, if you're talking about Bill Gates, if you're talking about even our social leaders like Martin Luther King Jr. or Bob Johnson from BET, at one point, all of these people believed in themselves where they were willing to bet on themselves. Yeah. Dr. King was willing to put, and I just use him because somebody everybody knows, was willing to put himself in harm's way for us and stuff like that. Why do you think, as a culture sometimes, as black people, we're so willing to take the $1 million and not see the bigger picture of the generational wealth that comes from believing in yourself?
Well, I think that most of us don't want to work because there's a lot of hard work. Like, people don't realize, even though I had that deal, 85-15, but that mean I had to get out there and work. I had to jump on planes. I had to be in all these different cities. This is my company. So I had to meet with the Blockbusters. I had to meet with the Kmarts, the Walmarts. I had to actually physically show up there. And
Priority wasn't doing none of that.
No. This is all me because I'm the marketing side of the business. Yeah. So I definitely had to get out there and show up every time. So it was no sleep in it. It was some cities I hit 3 and 4 times. So some people rather just take the money. They just want the fame. Until now you're famous for a while and the money is not there. You live in an apartment or you're not where you want to be at. Now you angry or mad. Right. But you accepted those deals. I mean, back in the days, I looked at some of the deals that big artists, some of them had 4% and 7% deals. Yeah. And it was crazy. And
which to them, to be fair to those people, that was still probably more money that they'd ever seen in their life.
Yeah, it was, but it's just like knowing, because you don't know how big you're going to blow up. Mm-hmm. And so imagine if you never going to blow up and you just want the advance checks, those deals are good. Mm-hmm. But what if you thinking, I want to take my career to the next level? I mean, you're going to probably end up on one of those shows, Where They're Now, or What Happened to Them. Right. Yeah. But, in life, I even tell people all the time, the reason why you got to bet on yourself in life is ups and downs all the time. Mm-hmm. So you got to have something prepared when those down times come, how you going to get back up.
Right. How many of these lessons would you say that you learned on the streets of New Orleans? How much of this stuff comes from a place that you can't learn in college? I know you said that you went to college.
Yeah, I went to college, but a lot of the business stuff that I learned it by experience. Coming up in hard times, it made me tougher.
Right.
Because even a lot of my peers that went to college with me, some of them are not even working right now. You know, they're looking for jobs. So the poverty and the pain, I use it to build me. You know, which a lot of people, they take it down. I hear even some kids, oh, my dad ain't around or my mom ain't around. You know, I had all those kind of problems, but that didn't stop me. I live with my grandparents.
Right.
You know, so you got to stop making excuses and you let that pain drive you to success. And I tell people all the time, that's just all it is for me. You know, when you just believe that you could do it and you're willing to put the work in, it's no limit to your success.
Word. So at some point, you go from being now you're the boss.
Yeah.
Now you have a label, right?
Yeah.
Now the label's popping. I'll never forget it. There used to be a time for everybody that's listening to this where you couldn't get every single little bit of news at the tip of your fingers, right?
Yeah.
There was a time where you couldn't find out what songs were number one on the chart just by hitting a button.
Yeah.
Like you either had to buy a Billboard magazine or it had to come on TV. I remember waking up one, I guess, Saturday morning or Friday morning, I was watching Headline News, and the guy was like, the top 5 albums in the country right now, it was number 5, blah, 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 number 4, blah, 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 number 3, blah, 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 number 2, Ghetto D, Master P. And I was like, yo, what the he's got the number 2 record in the country.
Yeah.
Like, at this point, you're not big for the South. You're not big regionally.
Yeah.
You're big.
Yeah.
And now you're the CEO and the boss of that label.
Yeah.
Did your perspective change when your number of employees grew? Because now, to a degree, you're no longer the guy going into meetings demanding things. You're the guy on the other side of the table.
Yeah.
And you're dealing with people from your own community who I'm sure you want to do straight business with, but you also want to help them change their lives.
Yeah.
How do you balance that as a black executive?
Well, I balance it by just being real with everybody and saying, I have a business now. I want to grow this business. I want to put good people around. I also want to help my people. And I'm not going to let somebody home my business. So I start thinking, I need to start giving back. I start building foundations. I start doing things for the community. But I wanted the right people around. I also had to start eliminating people that wasn't right for my brand and the growth of my company. And I had to do that also. So whether it was relatives, friends, or whatever, it's like I would rather give them something and let them move on than let them destroy my business, because I'm thinking the future. I'm thinking I want to be here in the 21st century.
Right.
You know, to be able to be here now, I had to make some changes. Don't be afraid to grow and change. And I think a lot of people, as executives, they get to certain levels, they still want to be the hardest guy in the world, and you don't have to do that. It's like we never was known for that. We just stood up whenever we had to, but we was like, we come here to do business. We was able to do big business with big corporations because they knew that we was businessmen.
Why do you think now it's so important for everybody to be image first?
Well, because, you know, artists and company owners don't realize that your business is built on doing sponsorships. So if your image is not right, you won't be able to get those big sponsorship dollars.
Right.
And I think a lot of guys lose a lot of money because they're only thinking about the moment. They're not thinking about how is it going to affect their career. And a lot of guys fall off after that. I was reading how like a lot of the new talent, they was losing a lot of deals because of the things they put up. Even sports guys, you know, all the trouble and all the different things they getting into, and they losing a lot of big deals just because of their personal life. Yeah.
So do they need to, when in a situation like that, if it's a rapper or athlete or whoever, do they need to change who they are or change what they show? Do you need to become a different person, or do you need to change what you portray?
I think you be yourself, but you also got to realize that you have a lot of people watching you now because of the social media and stuff like that. So you got to leave your personal life behind closed doors. And that's hard for somebody. Once you're making a lot of money, you just want to go out and party and have fun. But I think you got to come to a happy medium. How big do you want to be? And you know, how much sponsorship money you really want in your career.
Right. Master P rolls with no security.
Yeah.
Explain it. I've never I mean it just like that. We met, talked a bunch of times. They're not 5-6 guys around you making sure that you're safe.
Let me tell you something, man. I come from a very bad place. I changed my life. I have God with me. If something is not serious, nobody really want to go to prison for you. Yeah. So if it gets serious, I have to handle it myself. I'm not dependent on, but I do, like, if I do like big events and stuff like that. But I love my fans. It's like, fans, people don't realize, man, we come from a hard place. People want to see you made it. People want to see your success. They want to be able to say, man, this is a real guy. Right. And that's it. I work too hard to be able to come out my house. And I'm not tripping on haters. I'm blessed by the best. I put my trust in God, not in man. Right. And then I know what I'm capable of doing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's how I've been my whole life. I mean, man, I grew up in one of the most dangerous projects in the world.
Mm-hmm. If you don't know, that is
the Calio projects in New Orleans. Right. And I've always people want respect, but you got to give it. I've always given other people respect, and that's how my life is. It's not about me trying to be no tough guy, because it's not like, because anybody could get caught. That's how life go. Right. So I tell people all the time, a good run beat a bad stand. So,
feel you.
Yeah, and it's like, if you treat people right, people going to treat you right. Right. I mean, I grew up in a project. Like, if you look at all the stuff that's happening, you got to survive. I don't care if it's you living in a bad place. It's how you treat people.
Right.
If you treat people wrong, people are going to,
come at you.
Yeah. And my thing is, I love my fans, and I understand is some people out there that just test you just to be doing it. But then, I live my life on defense. I don't, even though I'm an offensive player, but
right.
Speaking
of that, so let's speak. That's a perfect segue. Yeah. So I want to paint y'all a picture. Master P now, No Limit comes. I mean, the hits start rolling in. They add an incredible free agent acquisition. And people, y'all think I'm going to say Snoop, but that's not what I'm going to say. I'm going to say the free agent acquisition that we were most excited about joining No Limit was when Mystical joined No Limit. Because y'all have no idea. Y'all think that Mystical was hot when Shake Your Ass and Danger and all of that stuff. You had no idea how hot Mystical was as a rapper in South Louisiana at the point that he popped up on You Don't Want to Go to War with Mia X. Yeah. I remember we listened to it. It was like Mystical with No Limit now. Mystical was everything, right? So the roster's complete. Y'all on top of the world. You're selling records. Shows are being sold out. And you decide, I want to go to the NBA.
Yeah.
How in the fuck do you decide you want to go to the NBA now after you've built? It was literally at this point, Bad Boy, Death Row had kind of faded off a little bit. Pac was gone. Snoop was out of here, really, because Snoop joined the y'all label. It was really Bad Boy, No Limit at this point. And you decide, I'm going to go back and do the basketball thing. How you make that decision?
Well, people don't realize, like, I played with a lot of those guys, Gary Payton, Jason Kidd. Growing up, basketball was my life, and I was in shape to be a pro athlete. And, I mean, if you was in Baton Rouge, you could find us in LSU every day. I just worked.
I see y'all on the rec. I would see y'all at the Ketchum.
Yeah.
I see y'all all over the place.
And people don't realize I had got myself back into pro basketball shape. Mm-hmm. I was training with John Lucas.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was training with John Lucas and going at it every day. Me, Baron Davis, Katino Mobley, Steve Francis. My game just was where it needed to be at. Derek Anderson, Ryan Mercer. It's like, man, everybody was like, Sam Cassell. They was like, man, you should be in the league.
Right.
And I was like, you know what, I'm going to just go, I'm going to give it a shot. So I got myself, and all the way, once I started training with John Lucas, I knew.
You guys don't know John Lucas, ex-NBA coach right now, is down in Houston.
Yeah.
I believe he's still doing life coaching and basketball coaching and things like that. Was working with Jamarcus Russell for a little while, a big-time name in basketball.
He's probably one of the best trainers in the world to get you ready for the league. And every day I'm out there working with him. And I said I wanted to get myself all the way right. He said, well, okay, this is what you need to do. Mm-hmm. When I got to that level, I knew I was ready.
Right.
And I said, I'm going to just take this on my own.
Right.
And so that summer league came. So back then you had to get on the summer team. Yeah. So I got on one of these summer teams. A lot of NBA coaches and stuff came through. And once they sent me to the summer league, I did real good. Mm-hmm. And then they invited me to training camp. Mm-hmm. So if you wasn't good enough the first day, you getting cut in training camp. Right. Like you're never going to make it through that.
Right.
And I mean, man, I was in top shape. I made it through training camp, and I'm like, I'm on my way to the league.
Right.
Now I'm about to do something that never been done before. Mm-hmm. I don't think nobody from an entertainment perspective, especially basketball, have ever, got a pro uniform.
That's like, no. You think of Drake fucking making the Lakers right now? It's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so not that I can think of. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like a lot of hard work, but it was my love and my passion, and I was able to actually make that happen. And it was like I played.
How far did you actually get? Did you ever actually see minutes?
They got highlights. Toronto just did a big thing on me, in Charlotte for the All-Star game this year. You're gonna see a lot of my highlights. Like I went at it with a lot of the big time players.
Who'd you cook?
A lot.
I want to know who you cooked.
Lot. I cooked a lot of people.
Give me a name of somebody who you walked off that court when they was like,
man, you know
he
what?
actually got game.
You know what? You could just pull up the footage and go. I'm just telling you.
I want a name of somebody that you cooked and you was like, this boy ain't that bad. Give me
It was a lot of them that I felt like,
you got
man,
the best of them.
Wait up. How much you making? It was tough back then.
Sure.
And I ain't gonna lie, like we even had a couple fights, but I ain't gonna put no names out,
You had fights?
Yeah.
Who'd you fight?
I ain't gonna say nothing.
Pete, give me a hint. What era?
It's a couple top guards that,
you had to fight with.
Yeah, because coach told us whatever happened in the gym, stay in the gym. Maybe I think coach wanted somebody to get beat up. So
right.
So
we had to fight with Chris Childs. What year was
this? Man, me and Chris Childs was cool.
Chris Childs had them hands though.
Oh, okay.
Kobe no.
Okay.
Kobe got the 2-piece spicy Popeyes and the biscuit. Chris Childs, bing bang.
I almost got into it with Kobe before.
Really?
At the Lakers facility.
Why is that?
Lamar them kind of cooled it all.
When was this? Was this the time that you were like playing?
Yeah, right. Like a little bit after.
A little bit after you were playing, why would you and Kobe Bryant be getting into something?
I mean, you know how Kobe is. The Lakers is his facility, so It was just one of those things. That's his place, which it was. But
So it wasn't nothing like, it wasn't no serious. It was like,
no.
But you and Kobe, y'all had some words.
We had a couple of words.
Who had more words? You or him?
I really don't have that many words when it gets to that.
Wow. So Kobe, you think in this moment, so you had words with Kobe. Do you remember what this was basically over?
Now it was that, at that time, Kobe, everything about the Lakers. I mean, we into the Lakers. We out here in LA.
Yeah,
so it's like everybody is like, but when things don't go your way, and then you shut it down.
What wasn't going his way?
It wasn't nothing.
It was on the court?
It was just like, little small talk. You know what I'm saying? So, because we're coming there and ball all the time. It was like in the summertime at the Lakers.
Oh, so y'all playing them? So, here's the thing what people don't understand about basketball culture. I hoop a lot, play a lot of basketball all over the city.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just happens.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, sometimes it just happens. You don't have to be. Everybody knows around town. I'm not a tough guy. I'm not looking. But sometimes it happens. Sometimes you cooking somebody and they get tired of getting scored on.
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna tell you the craziest thing.
Before I let you go though, real quick.
Yeah.
This Kobe thing.
Yeah.
So you and Kobe are getting into it because I know you have a relationship with Lamar Odom going back pretty far.
Yeah.
So Lamar Odom gets between you guys, or Lamar Odom tells somebody to chill?
He probably told him to chill.
Who did he tell to chill? It was Kobe, huh?
Probably.
He said, Kobe, chill out. You don't want these third world Calio problems, man.
No, man, but it was like, we was cool, and then...
Y'all good now, though?
Yeah. I mean, man, Kobe is a man. I mean, come on, that's Kobe Bryant.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
sure.
saying? But I think the craziest thing with Anthony Mason when I was playing with the Hornets.
Yeah.
Me and Anthony Mason. That's how we end up being cool. Like we really got into it because Anthony Mason is huge.
Yo. Let me tell y'all something. If you had to make a list of niggas you wasn't trying to fuck with in the NBA, so God rest his dead, first of all, Anthony
God
Mason,
rest his
man.
dead,
Point
man.
forward, the dude was a great player. If you had to make a list of dudes that you wasn't trying to fuck with from fucking 93 on, the top 5 would be Charles Oakley would be in there, but Anthony Mason would definitely be in there.
So I think that's why Charlotte cut me.
You think Charlotte cut you because you got into it with Anthony Mason?
Yeah, because the GM told me, Bob Bass, he says, everybody's scared of Anthony Mason. I'm even scared of Mason. Why are you not scared of him? I like, sir, I'm not scared of no man.
Right.
Because what happened was, in practice, Mace don't like nobody to touch him.
Right.
And so, once you say that to me, I'm coming straight foul you.
Right.
And so he was like, little man, when I get in the back, I'm gonna put these hands on you. So me, I'm squared up, I'm ready.
You ready to go.
He was like, man, I like you. We ended up being friends after that.
Yeah,
so it
man.
was like, but I play hard. I just play tough.
Yeah.
And getting to Toronto, we had a couple little problems out there. But me and Charles Oakley was.
So you had Charles Oakley, so...
Me and Charles Oakley was cool.
Because at this point, Oak is with them.
Yeah.
So basically, you just going back and all the old Knicks, the most fucking dangerous, aggressive team.
Man, me and Charles Oakley was like, if y'all seen us back then, you'll probably say, man, they trouble. You know what I'm saying?
Word. Y'all was running the streets or on the basketball court?
Oh, on the basketball court, we was going hard, but we was just hanging tough.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We in Canada, we taking our, meal money, we shooting dice, we just wild out. we just having fun, man. Just like hood dudes that's enjoying the ride, but sometimes people test you. Even Oakley got tested. By some players. He stood up and did what he had to do, which I wouldn't have did that if I was a couple players. But
there are stories of Oakley, there are stories of Oakley straight slapping grown men. You know what I mean? There's actually a video on YouTube, not of him slapping the guy trying to get to Oak after I think he has been slapped. And Oakley just trying to shoot his free throws in practice. Man. So you witness altercations and stuff like that?
Just say that Oakley is a good dude. That's what people don't realize. Genuinely, a lot of people just mess with you and they'll get you to that point. But I've been around him when some things happen, but he handled because you got to realize when you're from the streets and now you playing basketball, people just want to show you how tough they is, and they don't know that you really from them. And so it's a cause and effect. People don't realize, even in basketball, because in basketball they tell you back then, I don't know about now, but back then whatever happened in the gym, stay in the gym.
Stay in the gym.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's how it's supposed to be.
Right.
It makes you tougher. Especially the players you playing against.
Especially with the way we play down there, because the way we play down there, I came to California. I remember the first time I was in the gym in California. I'm playing. The guy goes up, and I follow him, and he goes, and one. I'm like, interesting. I'm like, y'all play and ones and pickup games out here? So that means you go and ones, you throw the ball up. Like, down in Louisiana, we get it out the motherfucking mud.
Yeah, you ain't getting no and ones.
Ain't no and ones. Like, you
coming home with a bunch of red whips on your arm.
Like, we getting it out the mud. But
to be honest with you, we just was taught to play tough because we know this is probably the only way we could make it.
Word.
Up out of here. I mean, I played with Liddell Echols, which probably was one of the toughest Baton Rouge basketball players I've seen.
Sure.
And Mike Harden, you know what I'm saying? It was like, I done played against some real tough guys that when it come to basketball, the Jaren Jacksons. I played on that AAU team with them. So, it's like, you got to be tough. Like, you ain't going out that gym crying.
Right.
Like, you better come.
I feel you.
You come ready to go to war.
So, at this point, there comes a point to where, No Limit was a staple situation, and then it seems like rap music kind of changed.
Yeah.
And the roster of No Limit, y'all lose Mystical, Snoop comes, and Healy's and stuff like that.
But the thing about it, we didn't lose nobody. Like, No Limit always been like a university. You come, you graduate, you go do your own thing. That's just it. I mean, we all kept good relationships. You know, I didn't stop nobody. I didn't say nobody owed me nothing. You could go and check, ask them guys. When there was time to go, I just let them go. I could have been like...
Okay. Yeah. So because you hear a lot of stories, I was going to ask you two things, and I'll ask you the second one later. But when you hear stories about like relationships, even with Diddy, you have artists. I remember when the Locks left Bad Boy, they went on a whole radio campaign. And I'm not saying anything about that. Obviously, I wasn't in those rooms. I don't know what happened. But they said that they had issues with Puff based upon him owning their masters or holding on to their work and stuff like that. I get the way business goes or whatever like that. Was any of that stuff happening?
We ain't never had nothing like that. But the sad part about it, how come you hearing about Puffy or Suge, whoever? How come you don't hear that about the Jimmy Iovine's and all that, all the masters and all the stuff that they own? Like, even those guys right now, you never hear a story, you never hear an artist say nothing about none of those guys. Why? Have they ever hung out with them? Have they ever took care of them? No, they only gave them what they owed them. And that's the sad part about this, the music industry. You know, when you a celebrity and you doing your thing, it's always pointing the finger at that person. You can't keep pointing the finger at who the company guy is because he paid his way. What about all these guys that own from Warner Brothers to Atlantic to... You don't even know their names. I ain't never heard an artist make a rap song about none of them. I ain't never heard them say that they took their money. I mean, where your money at? They just leave and go to another label.
Why do you think that is? Why are people so quick to call out the Puffs and the Sugs?
Because to be honest with you, because they our business people, so you can connect to them. But the people who probably owe you money or something, you never said nothing about it. So they just move on. It's almost like athletes. When the athletes get robbed by like all these different financial people and all that stuff, they don't even say, we don't even know. Because they just go to another one. Right. But anybody in the entertainment business that end up getting to be famous, you know, you're gonna African American or whatever, you're gonna point the finger at them but it's just business. Even if you got what you owe, they're not gonna keep it up. They're just not gonna say you spent your money. So my thing is right now, what I do deals with people, I say, you know what, let's do 50-50 deals. If we got $1, I get 50 cents, you get 50 cents. What I do with my 50 cents, it's my business. What you do with yours, you want to go to the strip club, blow your money 10 years later, you ain't got nothing, that's on you. But don't get mad at me because you had the same 50 cent that I had. And that's the way we're going to change the game because a lot of those guys, they sign them deals, they come up looking for people. Oh, I don't want no money, I want a break. Why you doing that?
Right.
So I don't point the finger at Puff or whoever, you know, I'm just saying whatever was up on that paper, if they give you that money, then they give you that money.
Right.
And some of my artists, they ain't never said I overpaid artists. I think I overpaid a lot of artists.
You think you overpaid a lot of artists? How do you mean?
All right, you go back and look in Baton Rouge, a lot of guys I brought houses, cars, and gave money to that.
That was something that we heard a lot of.
Yeah, and they probably didn't sell that many records after the record came out.
Right.
But I didn't go back to be like, you know, and go look at any other company executives. They're not going to do that. They looking, how many records you sold? This is what it is. They're not looking at the big picture. And I think that we got to stop that putting each other down when, you know, you got to get your business together. That's what I did. I mean, I can't get mad if somebody tell me one thing and then next week they make more off it. Just give me whatever you're supposed to give me.
Right.
You know, if I do a deal with Sugar Skull right now and I sell it for $1 billion to like Diageo or Beam or whatever, if they give me $1 billion and they make $5 billion, what I'm gonna do? I took the $1 billion.
Right. No, I feel you.
And that's that. I mean, whatever it is in black and white, you know, we make this stuff out of stories that I think is worthless.
I feel like sometimes what happens is that, like, if an artist feels unfulfilled by some deal that they signed, if the person that gave them the deal is from our same community, then they weaponize the community to get on the person.
But you really don't have to spend time with nobody if you're doing business like that. Like I make it that I want to have people around me that I like.
Right.
And I want to do business with people that I like. Right. You know, a lot of these big companies from Def Jam to all those guys, they're not spending no time with none of these artists. They're not eating with these artists. They probably never going to see them unless they pop and sell 1 million records.
Right.
Let's be honest. Yeah. We on the front line because we love our people.
Right.
And people still can't appreciate that.
Something I always wanted to ask you if I got a chance to interview you, because I want to know whether or not we made this up in our head or whether or not this was a real thing. At the height of both record labels, was there ever a No Limit Cash Money rivalry?
Never.
Never?
Never. We're too close.
It was crazy. It's crazy because
like people made that up. Think about it. It's
crazy because we would. I don't know why. I remember one time another guy arrested there, Soulja Slim, was on both labels at one point. Yeah. And I remember we would even take that as, yo, Soulja then left. He not mad. No, he would blah 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 blah. Yeah. And in our heads, we were all thinking that there was some reason why we never saw you got any overlap.
But see what people don't realize. Even with Soulja Slim, he never was on Cash Money. He always hung out with BG and Juvenile, you know, because they're from the Magnolia. It was just surprising. Because think about it. Once you got a certain amount of artists, everybody can't. It's 20 different people on each side. Yeah. By us signing Soulja Slim, it was just like, you know, we from the Cali, yo, so that might have looked like, but that goes to show you, you got to imagine, we was always rooting for Cash Money on the sideline, and I feel like they always was rooting for us. I'm just telling you, like, with us, you got to imagine me. If it wasn't for Rap A Lot, it wouldn't be no Cash Money or No Limit. But
Shout
if it was, yeah, I'm gonna tell you something. What Jay showed the game in the South, I would just took it and say, I'm going to inflate it now because I'm a young dude. I'm out here running. I'm on my game. I own my company. I'm telling you, straight up from me, if I was ever in a city and it was probably Cash Money, if they had problems with somebody, who you think we was gonna help? I'm gonna help them. Then they from my town. Like,
right. Yeah.
It never was like that. It's just certain things we didn't see eye to eye on because we from two different places.
Right.
Two different sides. Probably like in Baton Rouge, you know, like
Glen Oaks, the bottom.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like Glen Oaks, they get with the bottom. The bottom, they get with the paw.
Yeah, just
South Baton Rouge, Gardena.
You know, just what little Tommy Brown from Gardena.
Yeah, from Gardena,
which is blowing up now. But I'm just saying, it don't mean that. But I bet you, if they went to another town and they all...
Bro, you know what's funny? So people don't know, I went to McKinley High School.
Yeah.
We have a death rivalry in McKinley High School with a school called Capital. Capital High, the dirtiest, fucked up school in the whole city of Baton Rouge, right? We like Capital versus McKinley is seriously, game is played at Memorial Stadium because we're not going in their stadium and they're not coming in ours. You know what I'm saying? Actually, I think they might play their home games because their school is so shitty at Memorial Stadium. But Brandon Bass, you know Brandon Bass? Yeah. Brandon Bass went to Capital.
Yeah. I
see Brandon Bass in Beverly Hills out here. Yeah. And I'm happy to see him.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I see Brandon Bass in Beverly Hills out here. I'm like, I'll pass by him. I'll throw the phone down at him. And he rolls up and he goes, hey, man, where you from? And I said, I'm from McKinley. And we just both laughed. Yeah. Because we not in Baton Rouge.
Yeah. Nah, man, to be honest with you, like, I'm to see Cash Money, to see them, you know, get where they at, I'm happy for them. Like, you know, like you said, you see them somewhere, you like, okay, yeah, some more dudes made it from our hometown.
Word.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, we just not, if you look at it, somebody told me this other day, say, you guys just never been that social with everybody. Like, I've never been a person to hang out with a bunch of artists.
Yeah.
That just ain't me.
So it wasn't like because I never saw, because the look was always like, man, when we gonna get like a record that's like the Big Timers featuring Master P, or Master P fucking featuring the Big Timers, or what really would have shut down the whole South would have been a true and Hot Boys record. It wasn't that you necessarily had issues with hanging out with them. It was just that No Limit was kind of a self-contained type
I mean, to be honest with you, it helped us get to be where we at now because we don't have enemies and all these other people. Because you got to imagine a lot of those guys that you see that used to hang out, then they probably enemies now.
Yeah.
You know, it's sad, but that's just the way it is. Mm-hmm. And I just feel like we were some people, we've been through a lot, we come from the struggle, and we just mind our own business. And we enjoy life with each other.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I just think that was cool for us knowing that you got real love and real loyalty around you, so you ain't got to be looking over your shoulder. You know, it was we all we got. That was our motto. We all we got. It was just us.
How important? Because you mentioned Rap a Lot.
Yeah.
And I'm searching my brain. I don't want to misspeak. I don't think that UGK was with Rap a Lot, but I know that everybody down in South Texas was kind of under the same thing in terms of the culture. And I've been going back and listening to old No Limit just because it's on Tidal and I can get to it and I can listen to it. How important was UGK to the rise of No Limit? Because I'm hearing them when I think of Kick Dough and I think of all these different records that I'm listening to, really to both people, Cash Money and No Limit. UGK was all over everything.
Yeah, so my thing with UGK was I had got real big into the game. And I was like rooting for them too. So I ended up putting them on music,
right?
You know, with me. And we ended up building a relationship to where it's like, you know, I wanted to see them win. And you know how it goes sometime with, you know, things happening and you see it. But UGK was probably one of the strongest talents in the South too. Mm-hmm. So you gotta take your hat off to that.
Right.
You know, but you got to imagine them back then, the drugs and all that and the drinking and the syrup. It also had them a little wilding at the same time.
It was wild.
They were,
rest in peace, Pimp C, man.
Rest in peace, man, because DJ Screw, man, like people don't know the whole syrup thing. DJ Screw used to have icebox full of syrup. And when he died, it was kind of like, you know, you thought that people would change
to it and stop.
But man, it almost just got crazier to where everybody just started doing it.
I knew that it was going to be an epidemic when I saw Justin Bieber drinking on some fucking. I mean, because the reality is, I was in college in the late '90s. I was in college. I got to Louisiana Tech in '98. Got to Southern in 2000. You know what I mean? And everybody was on the thing. It wasn't even a thing that, you know what I mean? You drink a little and whatever.
You went to Southern?
Yeah.
All right.
And so
remember Jay Tweezy over there?
Hell yeah. Yeah, Jay Tweezy for season. Jay Tweezy for season with the Hot Boys. Like, come on, we have a bounce and shake it. The whole deal. So, but like when it blew up, it's weird to watch something go from something that happens in Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, whatever, and then watch a pop star with a double cup, and now you have an actual epidemic of an opiate being everywhere, and kids drinking on it, and it continuing.
Man, but you don't realize all the people we know that died that wasn't stars. Like, this thing took out a lot of good dudes from the South. Like, that I knew. Like, I was like, man. And that's why I never was into it. It's like, I watch a lot of good dudes because it makes some of them angry and mad.
Yeah.
You know, they'll start doing stuff. They'll start turning up. And next thing you know, they either got killed or overdose.
Right.
You know,
well,
so.
How did the Snoop thing come about?
Well,
we always wonder about that. That was a wild card right there. Snoop, if you guys don't know, we go doing a little history lesson. Snoop ended up signing with No Limit 97, 98. This is coming off Snoop at one point being the biggest rapper in the world. With Death Row. Had some issues with Suge, left the label, signed with No Limit. Was a big acquisition. How did you guys ended up getting Snoop?
Well, I mean, we knew Snoop wasn't happy. And we invited him to come be a part of the No Limit movement. And he was down. He was like, man, you know, I hollered at Suge and said, because I knew that he was trying to sell Snoop rights at that time. And Snoop was ready to go. And I asked him, I said, how much? My money don't spend. And, you know,
y'all made a deal.
We made a deal. And it was history from there.
High deal or low deal?
Nah, it was a good deal.
Right.
It was a good deal for him. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a good deal. It was a good deal for everybody. Everybody won. You know, Snoop won, we won, you know, Suge won. So it was like.
And back then, you know, you didn't hear very many, and I don't know Suge Knight at all, but you didn't hear very many. I wouldn't say positive, but you never heard. I did business with Suge, and it was easy. And you, you know what I'm saying? Like you don't hear very many people say that about Suge at that point, but you didn't seem to have any issues with him.
Nah, I did.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Do you think Snoop on No Limit worked?
Yeah. It was different. We know that Snoop. We let Snoop make his own music because you know, but he got in there with KL and made some big records. Yeah. Also with
No
C.
Limit Classic.
Yeah,
Fuck them other niggas.
Yeah, with him and
Down
C.
for my niggas.
Him and C, and that record probably still one of the biggest records in the streets right now.
Yeah, bro.
You know, and
you don't even. It's one of those records where you don't even need the lyrics.
Yeah.
The beat comes on and you know what they mean.
Yeah.
LeBron James when he was going through his whole situation and he was blah blah blah. They was warming up to that as a show of solidarity, and everybody knew what they meant. So it still lives on, man.
Yeah, nah, I got to get LeBron a new song. I just made a song called "We Did It." So whoever win the finals, I'm about to get them that record because that's what they need. They starting to play the song for graduations.
We did it. So that song, that's you and who? Who's on that record?
So it's me. Is Yo Got It For Real. And I mean, man, I'm telling you right now, I found one of the nicest female artists in the game. Like I want to surprise you with this because I just want you're gonna be like,
she knew.
Yeah.
Because the female artist that you guys had in the past, I still think is one of the top 5 female rappers of all time. Mia X.
Yeah, oh yeah. Mia X is a legend.
I was listening to I'm telling you, I've been listening to all this shit. I was listening to Freak Hoes.
Yeah.
And you talk about all of these chicks that come in and they sing now.
Yeah.
Mia X sings her verse in that song, really.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that was happening then.
Mia X was ahead of her time.
Way ahead of her time.
She built one of the biggest female fan bases because nobody was keeping it real like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So shout out to Mia X, man.
But you're not going to tell me who you got now.
I ain't going to. I'm going to show you because I want you to be like.
You want me to be blown away?
Yeah.
So how important is music still to you?
It's important. I was talking to, my daughter, Symphonique. Mm-hmm. She's working on a big project. I was talking to Marcus Clay, like he got big music. So the brand we have is let's all youngsters, like all youngsters with Tommy Brown, Symphonique.
You said Tommy
Marcus
Brown's
Clay,
out of Baton Rouge?
Out of Baton Rouge. And Marcus Clay is out of Houston. I think he could be the next Kendrick Lamar. Like he a spitter, and
there's a big rapper in Baton Rouge. I know. You ever heard of Adam Dollars?
Yeah.
Adam Dollars is crazy, bro.
All right, I'm gonna go check him out.
Adam Dollars out of Baton Rouge is crazy. Got like a lyrical flow. But Baton Rouge is, bro, really, he's coming up in terms of rapping.
Baton Rouge is the hot spot. I'm telling you, man. Tommy Brown. That's the only thing I'm gonna say.
Tommy Brown, Gaudier.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, if you say Gaudier, that's where I'm from.
Yeah.
Gaudier. Yeah. Remember the subdivision.
Yeah. So
G-Lane. G-Lane, yeah, man.
Well, you better get up on this.
I'm on it, bro. So now P is a father, right?
Yeah.
Seems like, right now the thing with you is you got 2 kids right now. Obviously, we know Symphonique, we know Romeo. Yeah. These are success stories.
Yeah.
And now Hersey and Mercy Miller, who are incredible young basketball players, following in Dad's footsteps in that right. They're not messing with no music, are they?
Nah.
They're athletes.
Yep. Student athletes.
Student athletes.
Yeah.
Student athletes.
Yeah.
What do you want for their careers?
I just want them to go to college. And then whatever happened after that happened, I want them to be able to go to college. Because going to college, anything could happen.
Right.
I want them to get education. Like that's
already in the cards for Hersey. He already getting offers, right?
Yep, he's getting offers, and I mean, Mercy is doing this thing like he is really, people respecting their basketball game.
Right.
So, I mean, I just like their work ethics, but they're not going to just lean on just basketball. I want them to know economics. I want them to understand the importance of education, because once they're successful, no matter what it is, I want them to be able to have something to fall back on. I watch a lot of athletes, man. They do not know what's going on in life. Like, they just lost. After basketball, they have nothing else to do. And I think that's sad. Because if you look at the Joan Elways, those guys, after sports, after football and being an athlete, they was able to go run corporations and do other different things. You can't play sports forever. So that's what I tell my kids. I don't care what anybody else say, you cannot play sports forever. You know, you're not going to be able to run that fast, jump like that. I can't jump the way I used to.
You know I see you on the ground running, though. I see you and Hersey getting y'all thing.
Yeah. So I got back into it, doing my 90-day challenge. It helped me get stronger, back to you feeling good. Because I tell people all the time, health is wealth.
Right.
But I want my kids to know, which I don't know how other people raising their kids. I want my kids to know that you got to have some brains, too. You get some money, you need to know what to do with it.
All right. I feel you.
Yeah.
So, so you have two sons and you have, more sons
Mercy is 12 and then Hersey is 16. So one is in the 6th grade, one in the 9th grade.
So what if, and they both can play. I'm not even going to talk them up. If you guys want to see it, go put in Mercy Miller, Hersey Miller, and you're going to see it. If you know basketball, you know the kids can play, so you can go see that for yourself. What if they couldn't play? What if they really wanted to play basketball, but it just wasn't there?
I let them know. You need to go chill out. Like, this ain't for you. Go find something else. I mean, to be honest with you, like, I like people that's real. That's what I was taught. Like, me and my homeboys, we just keep it real. Me and my dad keep it real. My grandfather kept it real with me. You know what, son? That ain't for you.
Right.
Find something else. And I think that's the best way you got to be with kids. I mean, a lot of celebrities and athletes, they think that their kids could do certain things. If they can't, encourage them on the things that they're good at, because everybody has some type of talent.
Right. Yeah,
and that's what I do. I support my kids in whatever talents they have.
Right.
And they just don't have to play basketball. They just don't have to do music. Do what you love. But my other daughter, she's an architect. Like,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I support her in that. Like, you don't have to be in the entertainment business in my family. Like, I'm supporting you with whatever talent you have.
Yeah. So.
Because you got to love something. Like, Hersey and Mercy wouldn't be that good if they didn't love this. Because you wouldn't put no time in. Because think about it, you're not living the way I live. I grew up in poverty. I had to be tough. Something else had to drive you. If you look at Steph Curry I played on the team with Steph Curry's dad. Yeah. So I used to see Steph Curry.
Who shoots better?
Who's?
Steph or Dale?
I mean, to be honest with you, Dale was a monster back then. But you don't have social media.
Right.
You can't see it right now. Like, Dale used to be in practice and never miss. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta push him or something.
Right.
You ain't gonna he gonna go crazy on you. You know what I'm saying? So, but Steph has taken what his dad have and taken it to another level. And
I read the story, and the story was about, Steph's around 30 now, but there were still situations in the past to where he would go to these big camps.
Yeah.
He would go to these big camps, right? And he would go to these big camps, and he was never the guy at the camp that people came to see.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
With the guys that were around his age range, Steph was the smallest, Steph was whatever. And there was a guy, I can't remember his name, you guys can Google the story if you want. They asked him, they were like, of the kids at this camp, who do you think is going to be the biggest success story? And he said, I'm crazy for saying this, but I think it's going to be Stephen Curry.
Yeah.
And they were like, why do you think that? He was like, the reason why I think that it was going to be that it's going to be Steph is because I watched the kids warm up.
Yeah.
And when I'm watching the kids warm up, he's like, I was watching kids that had their headphones on, they were shooting around, they were basically playing one-on-one.
Yeah.
He said, meanwhile, on the other side of the court, Curry was by himself.
Yeah.
He was by himself, and he had a whole pregame routine, shooting routine that he was going through at game speed.
Yeah.
He was running off little fake curls. He was shooting.
Yeah.
He was at the free throw line.
Yeah.
Steph had to swish 20 in a row before he left the free throw line. No rim. You know what I mean? And he's going through that whole thing. Mm-hmm. He's wringing wet with sweat before they even started. And the guy was like, if he has one shred of basketball talent, which he obviously does, he's gonna find a way
to make it.
To make it because of the time that he was putting in.
And that's why I stick with my kids through this. So I go in the gym with them. If they shooting a shot and we getting ready to leave, they can't leave till they make the last shot. And it like trips me out because I'm like, man, I gotta go.
Right.
They might be at half court shooting or something. They not leaving out there, and it's like they dedicated and they passionate about it. And that's what I like about Steph Curry. And I tell my kids all the time, if you putting that work in, it's what you doing when nobody watching. Like people watching me on Instagram. It ain't what I'm doing on Instagram. It's what I'm doing to get to where I'm at now. What I'm doing when the camera's not on. Yeah. And that's what I tell anybody that's trying to make it. It's what you do when that camera not on. It's gonna guarantee your success.
Everything good with your with C? Everything?
Yeah, he hanging in there. They just moved him, so he's down there where Mac at. So I think he's getting a fresh start. Yeah,
my it's something that especially down in Louisiana we deal with a lot. Having somebody that's incarcerated.
Yeah.
For me, I had one of my best friends, really one of my brothers, was did 25, 30 years.
Yeah.
Think about that. I mean, actually, he was sentenced to 25, 30 years. He did about 17, 18, came home a couple of years ago. You've had so much success.
Yeah.
Is it hard dealing with that situation, knowing that your brother's away?
It hurts, and because I think the worst part about it, because he innocent. You know that they have surveillance footage, and they also have a confession from one of the guys that was there, and they just didn't want that person, And I mean, C did a lot of crazy stuff in his time, but he didn't do this. So he's not like an angel.
That's a hell of a thing to fucking say.
Yeah.
This one he didn't do.
Yeah, and so that's how God works sometimes.
Yeah.
We know he's not an angel, but we also know he's not guilty on this.
Right.
And he's definitely had time to turn his life around. And, I talked to him the other day. He's talking about what he going to do for the kids. I mean, if you look at it, it's just, I told him, I said, man, you just got to get out, put it in God's hand. Whatever God going to do, he going to do it from here. After watching a story with Alton Sterling in Baton Rouge, I'm like, man, sometime when the system wants you, there's nothing you could do about it. This guy lost his life. I mean, he didn't have a gun on him. That's the sad part about it. If Alton Sterling had a gun, then I'll be like, because it's good cops and it's bad cops. Right. It's good people and bad people. I just think justice should have been served because he didn't have a gun.
Right.
And then when you see that video, you like, man, look what happened. I mean, and we understand, some of us look tough to where cops are probably afraid. You know what I'm saying? Right. I done had hoods on where cops just scared.
Yeah.
So I get that part. But if somebody don't have a weapon on them and you kill them in broad daylight, that ain't right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I know sometimes it's the opposite way. You have guys in the community that's just bad and they might shoot the police.
Right.
Where they should go to jail for that.
Right.
And then vice versa. I just feel like that's how it should be.
New Orleans has had over the last couple of years some really high profile examples of violence that we know has been going on in the city. When you talk about Joe McKnight, talk about Will Smith. Those are two guys, Joe McKnight, who went to right out here to SC, but ended up going and playing in the league, and then Will Smith, who was the same for a long time.
Yeah.
Like in those communities, man, like a lot of the ones that we've talked about in this interview, like what's the answer? What's the answer to cure some of this violence, some of this stuff that's still going on?
I think the people, before they walk out their house, you got to think about other people, because you also got to think about you have a family. So that's what keeps me going. Like, even if I got into it with somebody and I realize it's not worth it, like you about to have a cause and effect on both families. Somebody going to prison, somebody losing their life.
Right.
So who won? Nobody.
Right.
So it might be take some of that anger and violence to tell somebody, oh man, I'm sorry, my bad. You know, you just taking it with you to be the toughest, show somebody you real. You still getting taken away from your family.
Right. Yeah.
So I tell people all the time now, you just gotta think now. You gotta think before you react. You know, some people just reacted. And I think that's why we losing so many lives, because everybody want to show how tough they is, and they got a quick reaction.
Yeah.
You know.
Do you think we need to change the culture in the music at all?
Nah, because the music is nothing but entertainment. Like people, you know, people tell me that all the time. You know, like even me growing up, I used to listen to Ice-T Colors. I'm a nightmare walking, psychopath talking. That didn't make me want to go out and shoot somebody. It's just music.
Yeah.
It's just mood. Like I think as parents, we got to spend more time with our kids.
Right.
So even my songs, some of my songs that people from Body, you know, people look for excuses after they commit a crime. So we need to stop looking for those excuses and just be real. Take your lick. If you think something that bad that you need to do something to somebody, then be prepared to go lay down. That's it.
Global mixed gender basketball.
Yes.
You got, first of all, P did something that's amazing, rapper lover Lauren. Lauren is loving this situation because we're talking to a rapper over there. Lauren, do you play basketball?
No.
Why you say it like that?
She seemed like good people, man.
She is good people.
Yeah.
She is good people. Do you so you don't do sports, you're against that?
I'm not against that.
Do you know who the Gonzalez twins are? You need to know who the Gonzalez twins are. Gonzalez twins are two twins. They played at UNLV. They were dope basketball players. They look good, and they play Master P's Global Mixed Gender Basketball League, which is something that you're doing. Co-ed basketball.
Yeah.
If somebody never heard of the league, what's your sales pitch of the Global Mixed Gender Basketball?
Our lead is about empowering women. Like, it's a lot of pro athletes that are females that are not getting paid what they work. And they also, when you look at equal rights, they have no equal rights. Like, why these women are not at that level in basketball? Why we're not praising them the way that we praising LeBron or whatever? Like, because even in my league, some of these women are just as good as the men. I mean, Cappy Poindexter, man.
She can go.
She could go. I done seen her in our league do something that guys. She won the 3-point contest.
Yep.
In our league. So it's like a
shout
female.
out to Simone Augustus from LSU. I'm not gonna mention this dude.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna mention his name on this podcast. You know what happened. You got your ass bust by Simone in the wreck. We all saw it. You got mad. Like, you know, this dude was a big time basketball player in the city. Yeah. You don't think some of these ladies can go?
Nah, they could go.
Simone is a body catcher.
Yeah, so we are constantly adding teams to our lead, and we feel like we're going to be the next big league, because even the entertainment side and watching the kids come out and girls is giving them motivation to really work on their game, to be, you know, to say that I could be the best athlete. They don't have to just put a gender, male or female.
Right.
Like you're able to see it. And so now we going to Cuba. We going to Cuba for the Global Mixed Genders Olympics.
Oh, okay.
And you'll be able to see that real soon. It's the first Olympic
of
game
mixed gender
of
basketball.
mixed gender basketball.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Before I let you out of here, this has been a fantastic conversation. Like I said, something that I wanted to do. Big fan of No Limit. I still gotta be honest with you. I don't think y'all push Fiend enough.
Come on, man.
Fiend, like I don't think like I'm gonna be real with you. I rank my No Limit rappers.
Fiend on the biggest song to make him say,
I know, and he bodied that. Fiend is one in every family. I was telling my man a couple of days ago, that's one of the hardest albums. Like, man,
Fiend a hard worker too.
Fiend was really one of my favorite. Mac was too. Like,
Shout out to Mac.
Young Bleed from Baton Rouge. Y'all had a roster. I always ask when I'm talking to hip hop heads or guys that have contributed to the game.
Yeah.
I always ask for top fives. Just your personal. Who's your personal? If you can think of your top 5 favorite rappers ever.
Besides us.
It could be y'all.
I'm just saying, my top 5.
It don't have to be not the top 5 greatest, just Master P's favorite top 5 that you're gonna listen to.
I would have to say Scarface.
Yeah.
I would have to say Tupac.
Mm-hmm.
I would have to say Biggie. I would have to say Snoop Dogg.
Okay.
And I would have to say Eminem.
Yeah. That's a wild card. I didn't expect to hear him.
Yeah.
What about Eminem do you appreciate so much?
I just appreciate, it's almost like playing basketball. You don't see too many white kids that can compete. It's the truth. Right. I'm just saying, but now you got something that's really good. So you can't even look at it no more. But Eminem was one of the first. Mm-hmm. I mean, I was watching the Villanova game, number 10. I was like,
yeah, DiVincenzo,
man,
Dante DiVincenzo.
Man, it's like
killing them.
Like
of the new breed.
Yeah,
these new rappers out here. Who do you like the most?
For me, I definitely like the Migos, the Drakes.
Mm-hmm. Under 30 here,
under 30.
I mean, the Migos are under 30, but just like an under 30 rapper.
Man, it's a lot, man. It's just so many because you don't know like who's who because it's so many now. No, I'm for real.
They look the same.
Yeah, it's so many, but it's so many good ones. Like
it's a strong under 30 crowd.
Yeah,
you got Uzi. You got all of these different people and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's like it don't. I can't really put that in the top 5. It's so you know what I'm saying. It's a lot. Like we didn't have that many back in our time.
Nah, not like that. Not like that. You like Tekashi 6ix9ine?
I mean, I like the music. I think it's street, you know.
Yeah.
I think from what I've seen, it's some street music that you look at the East Coast, I mean, like, he doing his thing.
Yeah.
You can't, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So let me tell you what happened, right? So I talked to one of the ladies at Spotify, and she's like, you know what? All these color hair rappers is in. And I'm like, I never would have thought you would ever be hearing that type of stuff, but it's the truth. Right. You know, when you look at it, it's some redhead, some this or that. It's just like, it don't, I mean, from Lil Pump to, it don't even matter no more. It's like being different.
Yeah.
It's cool now. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, for us, you ain't want to be different. You know, you just was, everything was a blend,
right?
You know, and
would you work with because like a guy like Tekashi's got so much controversy and stuff like that? Have you seen anything from him that would make you say you wouldn't work with him?
Oh, the thing about it is, everybody got their own lane. So you know, if you look at me back in the days, people would have thought I was different. So I don't I think it's just a whole new generation of sound of music. Yeah. So
gotta let them be them.
You gotta let them be them. Like you can't, and if they end up being controversy, if they get caught up, that's something they got to deal with. You got to know when the fame come. See, that's what I try to show, you know, younger generation, you know, like, you got to realize that controversy, it might be what gets you caught up. It might not be worth it in the end. Like, I don't even want the controversy. I want the money. I'm only in it for the money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because you gotta survive. You gotta go to the store. You gotta be with your family.
Yeah.
That controversy stuff, you might as well stay in the street game. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I be hoping that the artists around me get from me. Like, let's try not do that controversy stuff because you never know. Like, that might be your down. You might make it, but that could be your downfall. Right. You know what I'm saying? So think about that. Any artist out there listening to this, you know, you want to try to, you know, do whatever it takes to make it. I know that social media play a big role now, but also think about how long you want to be doing this. Right. You know, and where you want to go at. You want to be able to go places to get bread. You're not going to be able to get bread if you got a lot of controversy. So those are the type of things you got to think about. You know.
Hey, y'all, give it up for Master P, man. Give it up for Master P.
Yeah.
Full of jewels right here. You got the jewels around his neck and he's dropping the jewels. That's it. We out. Give it up for P, man. Man.